welcome to the storytelling room. We've got the fishies in the background. Pretty fishies. No, I wanted to take the opportunity to read you a letter that one of my past wellness coaching clients wrote. And it's a beautiful letter, and if you've ever wondered about wellness coaching, or it's something that you're researching and you might be interested in, I want to share her experience with you. Okay, so she entitled this letter, Get a Life. Get back the real you. Get a life is a phrase we've all heard, usually said despairingly about or to someone who has tied themselves up in knots over something trite. But how often do we have a chance to really stop and look at the lives we're leading? If you're like me, chances are the demands of the day usually trump any real reflection of any meaningful plans for action. I mean, beyond some random wishful thinking about the kind of todays and tomorrows that we hope for in the long run. But this past spring, an opportunity arose that took me a little by surprise, and I'm glad that I took it. One day this past May, during an exercise workout session, my friend and personal trainer, Crystallized, that's me, suggested that we engage in some wellness sessions. I had been battling anxiety for my very interesting but stressful work throughout pretty well almost all the past year, and she knew that this stress was spilling over into the spheres of my life, affecting my fitness, health, and interpersonal relationships. The idea was that she would coach me, and for the first time in person, and the next few over the telephone. And in return, I would provide her with my thoughts on the process and my feedback on my progress as we embarked upon my wellness journey together. Was I interested, she asked? Well, this was a no-brainer. My family and closest friends had long ago tired of being my sounding boards, and I found it disconcerting when one of them interpreted my describing work as my complaining about work. In essence, Crystal was offering me the opportunity to have coaching conversations with a close and trusted friend who has studied coaching and is committed to the coaching profession. How often in life can I be the star, with my problems and my worries and my life as the center of the attention? Not often. But here was someone welcoming me to be completely self-absorbed for a while without my needing to feel guilty about stealing all the limelight. Obviously, I accepted within a few seconds of her making the suggestion. But I did have one provision. Crystal, I don't know if I really want to change, as I explained to her. I was worried that I would be a bad coachee. Deep down, my habits and ways of thinking are pretty fossilized. I'm pretty flexible about some things, but the inner core of me, that's not really so malleable. Not to worry, she replied. We would focus on enhancing my life in small ways. This would not be a complete overhaul, and plus, I would always be the person deciding the focus and the course of our wellness sessions. This would be about Crystal's and my interaction together, which over time might help me provide with some clarity and help me move into action. I knew that my goal was, and continues to be, achieving and remaining in a state of calm amidst the constant demands of life and work, and more specifically, better coping with the work-related stress that often throws me for a loop. We started by filling out a pre-questionnaire. This I completed and sent to Crystal ahead of time so she would have a chance to read it before I arrived. Its questions made me step back from my life a little bit and really reflect upon such thing as, what would you like to have written about you? Or how would your spouse or partner or closest confidant describe you, and what motivates you? Then, in our first wellness session, which was in person, Crystal explained the process to me, letting me know what to expect. For example, in my intake package, Crystal went over with me the International Coaching Foundation, ICF, Federation, Code of Ethics. Coaches really do have the potential to co-produce extraordinary results in their clients' lives. And so it's important that coaches approach their vocation with commitment to the profession standards and with the highest code of ethics. Kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. I already trusted Crystal, but it was reassuring to know that if she took her promises to the profession very seriously. Here's an excerpt from the ICF Code of Ethics that I think very aptly describes our collaboration together. In each meeting, the client chooses the focus of conversation, while the coach listens and contributes observations and questions. Coaching accelerates the client's progress by providing greater focus and awareness of choice. Coaching concentrates on where clients are now and what they are willing to get to, where they want to be in the future. ICF member coaches and ICF credentialed coaches recognize that results are a matter of the client's intentions, choices, and actions, supported by the coach's efforts and application of the coaching process. We established from the get-go that my work, as well as my interpersonal relationships, would be the focus of our 3 conversations. In a very exciting but often demanding line of work, there were times when I was feeling overwhelmed by the short deadlines that are unavoidable in this job, and feeling bogged down by a few other stressful situations. I feel very fortunate to have the job that I currently hold. It is indeed a blessing and a learning opportunity, but occasionally, perhaps I care a little too much about it. I would sometimes wake up in the middle of the night jolted awake by the worry that I would be unable to handle things. Although, in actuality, once my workday was in full swing, things were usually much better than they had seemed in the dark at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. Nevertheless, I recognized that I had given up too much of my inner power to an emotion I dislike experiencing: anxiety. Throughout the sessions, there was an interplay between Crystal and I, in which we explored my outcome goals, my behavior goals, and what I could do realistically to achieve these goals. This was not psychotherapy, but rather a very practical, hands-on brainstorming where Crystal would ask questions and make observations and suggestions that helped me come up with viable solutions. We talked about my goals of being organized and on top of my various projects, and about seemingly trivial yet actually very important logistical things like going to bed at a decent hour and channeling affirming thoughts as I laid my head on my pillow as a way to sleep well throughout the entire night. The first wellness session was in person, but given my heavy schedule, I opted for the next few sessions to be over the phone. After each session, I went away with 3 or so practical action items that I had thought up myself, but with Crystal's support in doing so. And at the beginning of the next session, I reported back to her what had worked and what I had decided to drop midway through the week. Perhaps the biggest achievement over the sessions was a change of outlook towards a particular individual in my life who had mystified me in the past and over whom I had felt stressed. After our second wellness session, I started to bless this person in my mind and silently send the messages of love. I'm not talking romantic love here, but that type of altruistic love when in the truest part of your heart, you sincerely want only good things for another individual. Sure, I slip every now and then when this person frustrates me, and then I find myself far away from this place of tranquility. But I'm pleased that within the ebbs and flows of life, I continue to revisit that place of serenity and love. Not only, of course, but at least frequently, not always, of course, but at least frequently enough to be proud of myself. Because of this person, I know I am being taught some life lessons, and I don't right now fully understand, but in my finest and strongest moments, I am confident that my universe is unfolding as it should, and Crystal's coaching helped me reach this place. My wellness sessions with Crystal were only a start, and there are still challenging aspects in my life, but I still feel that I made significant progress during these sessions, because while I have not eliminated my anxiety, I have at least reduced it by taking some practical steps towards being well organized and by drawing upon feelings of love and kindness. Get a life, someone might say, but that is what I'm trying to do now. I may always be a work in progress, but Crystal's wellness sessions were without a doubt a good launch in the right direction. Louise Gormley, July 2011. The end. So, I hope you got a little bit better an idea of what wellness coaching is about. Again, if you go to my blog at getcrystallized.ca, there is an article that goes a little deeper into what wellness coaching is. And if you're interested in a complimentary wellness coaching session, please send me an email at crystal@getcrystallized.ca or call me. My cell phone is on my website. Again, visit me at www.getcrystallized.ca. Renew, refresh, restore your mind and body at Crystallized.